You know, I really don't know how to converse with people who disregard any bit of evidence that you toss to them. Now, there are certain things that there's a gray area, and there's room to wriggle around and room to argue. But when you're conversing with someone who denies the obvious, like at what point, I just don't see what's the point of even continuing to converse with them. Now, there's this one YouTuber, goes by the name Rents66. Now, him and I have conversed back and forth on a few of my videos. And like I said, with certain things, there is gray area, you know. But with certain information, it's obvious to anybody watching, who pays attention, who does research, who studies. Information is not hidden. And some of the stuff you can just find out from looking around you. Recently, under one of my videos, the one about primitive man being primitive, I can't quote him verbatim, but I'll give you the gist of what his comment was. He disagreed with me when I said that the reason that primitive man is primitive is, and I refer to them as primitive, is because nearly everything in their way of life that they had, we do better now. Ours is more complex and more efficient. Now, nearly everything. Mode of transportation, dissemination of information, even medical. You know, we're living longer now. Certain things that we would die from back then is considered a minor injury now. It's clear to anybody who has done any study of history, ancient history, even history that only dates back 100 years, can clearly see that we have surpassed them in almost every way. And he pretty much disagreed with that. And I don't, like I said, I don't know how to converse with someone who would try to dispute the obvious. Like I said, there is gray area in some topics, but in that, I just don't. They were still guessing what the moon was in ancient times. We know now what the moon was. We put foot on the moon. You sent satellites out into space to study stars and other planets that those ancient people were just guessing at what they were. So, you know, I don't know how to converse with a person that would just throw out observable evidence. And all I can say about it is that it must spring from a desire to stay in that murky, misty realm of pseudoscience, you know, astrology, alchemy. It must be a comfort. But for a person like me, I like to know that murkiness. I don't really have I don't take a whole bunch of stock in that. If your information is not consistent with every piece of evidence, or the majority of the evidence that we have found, majority of the evidence that will completely disprove what you're considering to be fact, then anybody's claim should be accepted. There's got to be a standard, man. And it should be a strict standard, because without strict standards, when it comes to evidence and what is true and what is not true, what is a fact and what is not a fact, we'll be subject to believe anything